All right, well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nick Fedor, and I'm the Executive Director of Shaker Heights Development Corporation. Thank you for being with us today. We are excited to bring you an informative webinar on how to create compelling video content to help promote your business. This is another outcome of the virtual roundtable discussions that SHDC and the city's Economic Development Department have been hosting throughout the pandemic. And today we're joined by subject matter expert Jamar Newell from Launch Arts Media. Launch Arts Media has established itself as a purveyor of quality brand marketing through mass media and design services. They have produced memorable advertising for area businesses spanning a large variety of industries. In the very near future, Launch Arts is primed to service major brands both nationally and internationally, and their goal is to inspire through expression with a mission to create. Launch Arts Media is located on Lee Road in Shaker Heights. So just a few housekeeping reminders before I turn it over to Jamar. Please keep your microphone on mute to cut down on background noise during Jamar's presentation. If you have a question, feel free to use the chat function, or at the end, feel free to unmute yourself and ask it via video if you'd prefer to do that. And also we are recording this so that folks who weren't able to join today can view it at a later time. So with that, I will turn it over to Jamar to get things started.
Appreciate that, Nick. Hopefully I can be heard by everyone. I usually use another platform, but this has so many similarities, so it seems just about in tune with everything that I usually do. I'm very, very happy to be here and to be leading the discussion today. Video is the signature service that Launch Arts provides. And with everything that you do, especially when it is a craft, I feel that you grow more and more as you continue into that craft. So we lend a lot of creative insight in a world where a lot of the functions are doable by just about everyone. It's a DIY sort of space now. However, we bring the professional touch and the outside the box thinking. So this discussion is to empower entrepreneurs to virtually do it themselves as far as they can in terms of creating content for social media. So what we'll go over, and I'll leave with the slides in a moment. What we'll go over today is the basics. What is content? Because it's becoming one of those buzzwords that can get lost in the sauce of translation, just as marketing has in the past. You know, so many words that were just clear cut and understandable, when they get overused and in the current climate or zeitgeist or whatever you want to call it, you can lose sight of like, what does it even mean now? So we'll just bare bones say, what is the content? What are the best ways to achieve the content, and the easiest ways to go about it at that. So I'm going to share my screen now. Let's see here. And Nick, can you give me a thumbs up if you can still hear me? Good. Okay. Now, can you give me a thumbs up that you can see my screen? Because I see you, I don't see the other participants just yet. Okay. So we'll jump into the presentation, and there'll be one jump out because of an audio issue where I want you guys to see a quick video that I did, okay? So we'll slideshow from the beginning. And again, this presentation is social media video content creation, hosted by me. So first and foremost, and I won't get too worried because I know we only have so much time. Content, there are a few definitions for content, but what I am speaking of is the information or subject matter. And in this case, it's for the internet. It's to promote your business. So when you hear someone of social media management or videography say, you need to boost your content, what they're saying is any and every bit of information that goes out under your brand. So for a better example, and I love to point out this industry because they do a great job of creative content. Hundreds of commercials have been shot starring Flo and a varied cast of developed characters by Progressive. Progressive has an immense amount of content. They have more content from a literature content stance to a video content stance than even other insurance companies in the industry. That's what content is. On our level, content is information that promotes our business, and it isn't in that grand spectrum. However, whatever you put out, be it a written post, be it a series of quotes, be it a few videos, that's your content. Now, two things to keep in mind is to always maintain a content consistency. The last thing you want to do is create a video that is a home run and then they don't hear from you again for 2 years. Because you pretty much build a certain amount of momentum and then just pretty much, drop the ball. So content consistency is to maintain your virtual pulse, which is something that I coined, and stay in front of your consumers. And video is optimal. So when it comes to content, video pretty much overrides everything else. It's the most popular for engagement on social media. And I think this is the most important thing, is it has a high residual marketing value. So if done right, if it isn't particularly dated, if you want to walk on the side of being relevant, but you don't want to necessarily walk on the side of expiration. So if it's done right, it can be used again and again, and the returns aren't as diminishing or as something that is, one and done. This was only hot for a moment. They're doing the, whatever popular dance was at the moment or something to that effect. So with that in mind, that video is key service, content consistency is paramount. You don't want to get left behind. Here are a few statistics, I think, just coming out of 2019. And the numbers are astronomical, actually. Social media videos generate 1,200% more shares compared with images and text combined. And analytics are here to back it. Virtually every app has a pretty good analytical function to really track the numbers. 87% of online marketers use video content. I know as a Facebook standpoint, when I attended a conference maybe about 6 months ago, they pointed out over the last decade that 70% of the posts were video at this time. And then in the next decade, which we have just begun, it was going to edge up into the 90 percentile. So virtually everything will be video. The volume of mobile video consumption increases by 100% every year. Ever since the advent of smartphones, that's where our attention is. So it's pretty cut and dry to just understand that this is where people will continue to be. Therefore, you need to be in the space as well, promoting. So here is where we walk into an issue. I have a video here, and it's pretty it's pretty of the moment, but I know that the audio won't share. So I'm actually going to hold my phone up. I'm going to stop sharing the screen here, and I'm actually going to hold my phone up, and hopefully the audio isn't too distorted. Let's see. Nick, can you see me? Someone just message back that they can see me.
I can see you now, Jamar.
Okay, cool. And my kids are coming in, so it might be a little commotion for a second. Okay. Now I'm gonna hold the phone up to the camera, and it might take a moment to go in focus. And this is just kind of like I had to kind of call an audible because the audio wasn't picking up on the Microsoft Teams. But I'll send you this video in the email. Now, most people will look at this as an unimpressive feat of teleportation, where I only moved a few feet away from where I was sitting, which was behind my desk, to now in front of my desk. I would still find that to be very impressive, but I'm very easy to impress. I'm joking, and I digress. What I was doing was engaging you in a little bit of conversation before I got to the meat and potatoes of the subject. So what I am explaining to you is that this is the best possible way for you to publish a video via your phone. As you can see, my arm is in full extension here, and I am in my basement, as I was, and I am producing video from my phone to social media. Now, I'm not going to post this to social media. This is for the class. However, once you turn your phone on yourself, get to talking, and you can engage your audience with your words, your knowledge base for your industry. Video content is the optimal form of content for social media. It's the best way to ensure that you get post engagement, which means you get people clicking out. That hurts more than you know. Okay, back to the class. How's that audio?
You could hear it. It was good.
Okay, so I did that just to kind of be playful, but to honestly show you that it's as easy as picking up your phone. Me, from a professional standpoint, I can get a lot more technical with a lot more equipment, bigger cameras, bigger, bigger resolutions and bigger post-production. However, in this day and age, you can promote your business right here. Okay, so I want to share my screen again. And I just want to talk about some cool hacks. Let's see. And this list is to pretty much answer some of those questions that some of you may have to be an obstacle, where you might say, I get it. I see that you do the videos. I just don't have time for it. Knock, knock, I run a business. So I don't know where I can get around to actually producing these videos. Well, my initial answer is that all you need is a few minutes. However, some pointers is, first of all, to research and share viral content, which is still video content, doesn't have to star you. However, you have time to find relatable content. In today's day and age, there's a lot of shared messaging. So it isn't
Hey, Jamar, it's Nick. I'm sorry to interrupt, but are you sharing your screen right now?
Yeah. Do you still see me? You still see me?
No, I don't see anything.
Okay, let's see here. Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you. Just can't see your screen now.
Good, good, good. Okay, let me jump back and see. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Excellent. Yes.
Very good. Okie doke. We got
Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's all good. So the cool hacks list. First and foremost is to research and share viral content. And that's kind of stepping out of, hey, you have to be in front of your camera, you have to be your spokesperson, or you have to have someone else do it. Sharing viral content is still sharing an MP4 or MOV or movie file, video file, and it's still sharing video. And it's going to give you that added element outside of picture post and text written post. So there's that until you're ready to really have a direct marketing approach via video. Second would be to map out and plan ahead. So, I mean, that's pretty easily said, is if you're going to use video, but your reasoning behind not using it is you just don't have time, you need to manage your time to sit down and create this form of self-marketing, which rolls into batch producing. Let's say you can't record a video every day. There's just too much going on. If you want to time block, or maybe a weekend, a month, where you take information that's pertaining to your business that would be useful to the public to hear, and you just self-produce a few videos all at once, and you kind of schedule them to go out and spread them out throughout the upcoming weeks or months. That is a cool hack to have a nice video production campaign. Or you can delegate the task. If you are in the position to have someone else manage your video, then of course that's the best way to go about it. And another way to kind of facilitate into creating video is to have the mindset that you're documenting and not producing. It can be a little scary for some entrepreneurs to stand in front of those cameras, to feel as though they're doing a presentation. And that's what comes along with producing. You're presenting. However, if you just as you would take pictures of a to-do list, just as you would take pictures of your family and not think anything of it because you just want to capture the moment, you could document your activities. The alternate to that a lot of the top platforms provide, they dub it stories. You'll see on launch arts, I had a hot cup of coffee and everything's set in front of me so many weeks ago that I was getting ready to really dig into some editing, and just producing that story, which is a more interpersonal look into your business, is a form of content, and people will appreciate that, and it will lead them to do business with you, because in this realm of social media, it's not just about how you can produce a product. It's showing a personable feel, a personality, if you will, that people can relate to, or people will want to do business with. So, key inclusions, best practices when you're doing video. As you saw in my video, and I'll share it just in case it was a little out of sorts because I had to hold the phone up. I want it to be relatable. I want it to be a little down to earth. In other instances, I might want to be, speaking to a peer group of videographers, and I speak more in the technical jargon. But in that one, I want it to be relatable so that you could easily listen. And that's another term that I have in my head. But you try to be relatable, appeal to your audience, because it's social media. This isn't a hard line, business, no humor, no this, that, or the third kind of deal. You're posting to social media. And that's a big reason why, and that's another topic, but it's a big reason why if you post on your business page, you don't overly solicit. There's a third of a percentage of the post that you put out that should be more so a sales pitch. The remaining percent should be good quality information, relatable information, and shared information that boosts you in the perception of the public as being sociable. The next point is, address a need, want your service provides, but not too pushy. Again, going back to that first point. You do want to convey somewhere in the conversation that, hey, this is what I do. You just don't want to hit them over the head with it. You can express your value. Now, you can express your value in more than one way. You don't have to verbalize it. As you see in my examples, I use technique that someone would get from me if they were to hire me. So in some subtle way, you can show them, whether it be from speaking to your industry, or in some other way visualizing it. Maybe where you're sitting is your laboratory, or where you're sitting is your facility, or the logistical standpoint, but you want to express your value. And then last but not least, you want to have a call to action. So you don't want to just leave them high and dry with great information. You want to leave your email, your social media contacts, something, and a little push in the direction of, hey, if you want more, subscribe to this channel. Or, hey, if you're being more direct, if you want service with us, you can go to our website now. So that's the call to action. And that's very important in all forms of marketing. You don't want to just be a ghost in the night with something that they'll never forget, and then they don't know how to reach you. I just wanted to include this slide because for anybody that needs to overcome the hurdle of how to put it onto social media, all of these O's are so important. It's so easy. And I have a share screen thing here. Okay. What I said down at the bottom is, since most social media platforms encourage all forms of posting, most of the interfaces, meaning most of the functionality that you see, they keep it relatively simple to add video. And here's just a screenshot on Facebook. Facebook is the primary social media platform, bar none today. So that's why I use them as an example. Everybody uses Facebook, therefore even competitors see that there's a rule of thumb for functionality, and they'll fall in line with making it easy for their their account users to upload photos and videos as well. So if you were to record a video, just as what I did, and you log on to any of the social media platforms, it will be pretty simple to import your video. Here's another slide that really walks in line with today's class, okay? So beforehand, I gave you some cool hacks to get going on content. Now, here are themes and ideas to get you going right away. The first one is as basic as you can imagine you would do a video for, and it's general sales advertising. Keep in the same mindset of a television commercial. You can turn the camera on to you, and you can discuss your product, and you can have your call to action. And you can do that as many times as you like. I would just advise for you to not fill your content, your outgoing content, with solicitation, 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 solicitation. You want to have an advertisement or solicitation, and then you want to have just general content that is noteworthy or informative or shared or personable, and then there's another solicitation. If you constantly hit a potential client or customer over the head with sales pitches, then they'll be turned off. An interview video. So this is another format. It's another way to go about creating content where it's kind of like in the second person. It's not like a first person kind of deal. It's you explaining not directly to the camera, but you're talking to someone off camera. And it's just another style of engagement. An informational video. Now, I use terms that could be called something else somewhere else, but an information video would be, for example, what I'm doing now, but let's say I'm in another industry. Let's say I'm in the pet care industry, and I just want to give them 5 quick tips for being sure that your animal, your dog or cat, does not have fleas or ticks. Now, that's information that I'm giving out. Because in today's day and age, with people going to YouTube to learn how to build a shed, it's quite well known that you can't necessarily hog all of your information. You need to share information in order to then generate business. So informational videos can create long-standing campaigns with the residual marketing effect. There's so much that a plumber can tell you before having to come out to your house that's still useful information, but it doesn't render them obsolete. And that's what I want to really emphasize. What I'm telling you now, someone might think, well, I'm rendering myself obsolete in terms of being a videographer for small businesses that are attending this class. However, there's a level of professional technique and mastery that I have that, if interested, you will still come to me. So it doesn't necessarily damage me to give you this information. So with that mindset, the information that you can use in a consulting manner for your business can be great, deep content for your social media. Industry updates. There are regular statistics, such as especially speaking to my real estate agents, where you want to talk about interest rates and where they are. There are regular stats. There's a regular barometer of keeping an eye on what your industry is doing. You'll have a source. You'll have a national association of realtors. Again, speaking to my realtors, or whomever is giving you that large scope of information. So you're just the local newscaster of that information. You want to be the person who gives the information to your sphere. You want to be that person, because then they trust in you for that information, and then later that service. So industry updates can be conveyed through you. Local business review. So here's a cool one, because it totally takes the focus off of you. and it helps us as a community. Whatever it is you do, you can shine a light on a neighboring business. I guess like some things that I've done in the past is to forge great relationships with restaurants, which I have no conflicting interest with. And it's always great to shoot video in other places. So I would do an interview video with a client, and I would walk to the proprietor of the restaurant, and I would say, hey, how about a little free advertising where I, give you a noteworthy review of great food here, or, great open space, great place to meet. And we can work in tandem that way. So that's like it's a networking option. And then your call to action can definitely refer to what you do. Sorry, take a sip of coffee. Number 6 on 10 themes and ideas to get you going right away. Just go live. 1 through 5 require a little bit of an understanding of what you're about to do. Going live and knowing what you know about your business, and especially posting to Facebook in less than 30 seconds, 10-second, hey there, good morning, everyone. It is I, and then blank your name here, servicing in whatever it is you do. Just wanted to check in with everyone, see how they are, to be relevant during this pandemic. And just to keep in mind that if you need XYZ, I'm here for you. Stay safe out there and have a great day. You can convey that message in 15 seconds in its content on your social media. Facilities tour, especially for manufacturers, or, storefronts, places where, either they want to see how things are produced, or they want to have a look-see before they pay a visit. A great piece of content. And again, all of these things are accessible through turning on your video on your phone. Is to just do a guided tour of your place and your space. And it will resonate with your audience. I think you can probably hear my family upstairs. About me, or company office promo. So kind of like an interview, this is where you have the themes and ideas, really, really focus in on you. It's really all about you, in contrast to maybe number 5, which is the local business review. And you really highlight the culture of your company and office, or you really, really zero in on your drive, what motivates you, which is also very appealing to the perception of your audience or your potential client base. Community events video. This is, again, like local business review. It's tying you into your surrounding community. So to have your eyes and ears peeled for what goes on in your environment relates to a consumer base that is also close to your community and environment. And last but not least is, if 1 through 9 fails, think outside of the box. So long as you're recording, so long as it's suitable for workspace, the NSW, whatever those acronyms are, so long as you aren't necessarily, so far outside the box that you're going to be flagged, you can promote your business in ways that are pretty much new inside of the last decade. People do just a plethora of different presentations to stand out. And there's no wrong answer here. Just operate on a moral compass. So some quick and easy applications to kind of get you in the editing process. Now, I want to just go up to the black box at the top first, because if you don't want to get too far into production, for an even faster process, skip the video apps and record your video inside apps like Facebook or Instagram. They have the video controls, they have a trim option, they even have a captioning option just to get you going right away. If you want to walk more in the line of a little more polish, if you have an iPhone, there's iMovie. That's the same as what was on the desktop version. If you have an Android, I recommend Viva Video, and both of those are free. I know Viva Video has a paid option. I'm sorry, I'm not sure how loud my wife is picking up on the phone. Okay, I think she's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, this is working during the quarantine. And then last but not least, for pros and semi-pros, there's Adobe Premiere. I use Adobe Premiere. It's an industry standard. A lot of your major filmmakers use Adobe Premiere. Adobe Premiere Rush is a more simpler version that can be used on a smartphone, because Adobe Premiere itself is a very complex application that you really need a powerful computer to manage. This is another commercial, and I don't know if you're going to pick up the audio, so I'll just show you. And I'm actually going to turn it down here. We're stepping into what Launch Arts Media can do for businesses. So, we create visuals that are engaging for audiences, and it also doubles as great content for us. Not only does it advertise our services, but we can use it to that residual effect. This is one of our most recent. I've showed this in a few group meetings that I've been a part of in recent months. It's right quick to the point, but during that time, it explains what my business does. Now, this is more on the videography side of using footage that I've captured and footage that I have in stock. So that's probably out of the wheelhouse of creating content for a lot of entrepreneurs. However, it was just to showcase some of my services. A little bit more about content that I've created for other clients. I've worked with a lot of different, businesses and municipalities and organizations, a wide range of different interests. And everything that we do is content. There's nothing necessarily that should be kept and not used or not, put on display when you're promoting a business. Again, in those confines of a moral compass. And of course, I'm being humorous. Everybody pretty much knows not to necessarily walk the lines of offending anyone or controversy, because that could spell, a different kind of issue for your business that you don't really want to really deal with. So just to summarize, content is king when it comes to social media. If you don't have that pulse, then your audience will undoubtedly fall in love elsewhere. It's not to say that you need to be at an arms race with any competitor about what sort of content you provide, so long as you bring content at a steady flow. It will boost your search engine optimization because you have engagements, which are likes, which are views, and therefore it heightens you on the Google search, which is paramount now. We don't have yellow pages any longer. So, I mean, we do, but who reads them? The Google search is like that search. If my tooth aches, I jump on to Google and I look for a dentist. There are a few components that factor into who I choose. Proximity could be one. However, their presentation is a big deciding factor. So if I go from their website, branch over to their social media, if they have engaging content, then it's going to be in their, I'm sorry, I'm distracted by the noise. It's going to stay on my mind longer. And that's what good marketing does. It makes you remember who they are. So I hope that this was informative. I hope that it was entertaining, because that's the key to engagement. And I'm open to any questions.
Jamar, that's excellent. Thank you very much for a very informative and engaging presentation. We've got a couple questions rolling in here on the chat function, so I will start by reading them out to you. First question is about adding background music to videos. Is there any kind of quick or easy ways to do that you could share?
Yeah, so in the video that I produced, I was on the fence about even adding background music. There's a closing window in terms, because everything's so monetized now on the internet, there's a lot of copyright issues. So using popular music, there can be hurdles there. You'll have to, sometimes you can do in your captions, you can say, I don't own the rights, and they'll leave you alone if you use popular music. However, it's pretty easy to do in a lot of those apps that I mentioned. Facebook actually has copyright-free song selection. It's not a deep dig. It's just some people don't necessarily record their videos inside of Facebook. But if you want to add background music there, they'll give you a list of different genres, and it's more of a generic sound bite. And then I believe YouTube is walking along those lines because they have content creators who are lending their music without any copyright restrictions. But it's relatively easy to do inside of those applications. Now, and you will get the PDF version of this presentation. Viva Video has add music, add audio. iMovie does as well. It's just a second track on top of your video. And then there's an EQ, an equalizer, where you boost the sound of your voice and you lower the sound of your background music, and then you just save the video message in that manner. So, but you do want to be mindful of using popular music, because like I said, 15 years ago, nobody cared. It was like, hey, free promotion, you know what I mean? And now everybody realizes that as e-commerce is now just almost primary, and everybody kind of can earn as they learn how to monetize things on the internet. A lot of the publishing companies, not even the artists, the publishing companies come after you, and they can mute your video if you use popular music. I have a database that I subscribe to, as do a lot of videographers. But it's a pay service. You probably pay annually, where contributing artists give you a vast array of music so that you can use, at an unlimited standpoint. And it really just helps when I work with clients and I can just readily have music for them.
Great. A quick follow-up question just came in on the topic of background music. And it's how important or effective do you think it is? And does that depend really on the message of the video, the length of the video? What are some of the factors that determine the importance?
Yeah, so music adds emotion. Music can help. I really want to send you that quick video I did because I was doing little playful things. I had a ticker run at the bottom of the screen. And as I was talking and giving you information, it says something along the lines of, a ticker can have a compound effect on delivering a lot of information at one time. It'll give you a second, it'll probably give you a second view, because they'll say, I heard what he said, but I missed what was in the video. So then they want to go back and read because they heard what I said already. Same thing for music. Music, one, sets a tone. It can convey an emotion if you're looking to convey a certain emotion. You play soft music if you're saying something heartfelt. You play upbeat music if you want to get people energized. So there's that. However, it's a decision-making process. Sometimes if you want to be a little more serious or straight to the point, sometimes if you want to have that real effect, and you're talking from outside, then you won't go with music, but it's you want to have that, you want to know what your theme is. And then what I like to do is have like a mini focus group. So I'll have a version with music and without music. And then your focus group can be your wife or your husband, or, your work colleagues. What do you think, guys? Music or no music for this, But it kind of goes with the best feeling. Sometimes music is, I say more times than not, especially when I'm doing a polished production, music is more appropriate, but sometimes we nix the music. So it's really that feel.
Great. All right, we have a question that came in about Google and their new algorithm. And do you know if it still emphasizes video content?
Well, I'll have to kind of get a little more insight on their new algorithm. I have, I have a general knowledge of their algorithm, but I would think that it emphasizes video content. I know what it what it does now is it emphasizes pay incentives, and a lot of browsers, and I'm not talking Chrome or Microsoft Edge. I mean, you, the consumer, the people who browse the internet, they're starting to just innately look past the ads and look right into what's organic. So as effective as Google search is at emphasizing in its algorithm, the pay version gets overlooked, and the organic algorithm is what the eyes go to. Now, video being de-emphasized in an algorithm doesn't sound right to me. So I have to look into that, but I wouldn't think that it would be de-emphasized, because if it isn't as emphasized any longer, then what exactly is? So, that's pretty much my answer there. But if you have some insight on that, let me know.
Okay. Question about equipment here. What kind of equipment would you recommend to take video content besides smartphone quality or beyond smartphone quality?
There are some streaming cameras like the Mevo for a little bit more of a hefty investment. I'm a Canon guy when it comes to camera bodies, but some of the top brands would be Nikon cameras, Sony, Canon, and Sony. Sony does a lot of different pretty effective 1080 or even 4K streaming cameras. It's a bit of an investment that you have to make, but it does have that, it takes you up a notch from your smartphone. I will say this about iPhone. I'm more of I'm a Galaxy Android guy. I got my Note 10. Anytime the Note updates, I like it. I love it, actually. My hands are oddly large, so it helps that in that regard. But outside of that, I love that it doesn't have as many third-party restrictions as iPhones do. But iPhones, I do love their camera. People are starting to shoot whole movies on an iPhone. So it's just where your creativity can tweak. And if your budget doesn't account for a more professional camera, you can really do a lot with the higher end smartphones. For Galaxy, the Note series is their signature, line. So that's the best camera. But those iPhone cameras, if I have to concede anything to Apple, and I don't like to, it would be that the iPhone cameras are good.
Great. We have a platform specific question here about how hard it is to set up business specific YouTube channels to constantly show cooking demonstration videos, for instance.
Yeah. So I think I see that message. You say, "Hi Debbie, we have a spice business and want to do videos of cooking our spices. How hard is it to set up your own YouTube channel?" Not hard at all. If you have a Gmail, you have a YouTube channel. And all you have to do is in one tab, open your Gmail, and in the other tab, open your YouTube. And in the top right corner are those user functions. And that's when you're working from a desktop. Same thing goes if you're doing it off from your mobile. Just have the YouTube app and have your Gmail app, and they will find each other, because as you start to set it up, they will look for your Gmail address to sync it. That pretty much eliminates the establishing of a YouTube channel. From there, you go in and you do your about me and your title of your page and everything of that, everything under the sun there. And then when it's time to upload videos, you click the share button on the videos that you produce, and it will give you the option of every app on your phone, including YouTube. And just like that, you have content on your YouTube channel. Excellent.
All right, I think we've got time for one or two more. Here's a big one. How do you create viewers, eyes who will see your message? Want to try to tackle that, Jamar?
Yeah, I try. Yeah, so I mean that's the million dollar question. There are many ways to create a following. Now, another thing that I do outside of videos are signature service. Our most prolific service is social media management. Our social media management is leveraged on creativity and not necessarily like a lot of these businesses that do social media management, giving you a falsehood of success based on inflated numbers. So to get back to that question, how do you create a following? Your content needs to be engaging. You need to be sure that your presence is on all of the large public spaces. So Facebook has something like 2 billion users. You know, that's like close to a third of the planet. 2.5 billion, I think, but you got to account for like duplicate accounts. So that's a marketplace to make sure that you're on. You're there, then your content needs to be engaging. Now, how do you create that base? I refer to it as your raving fan base. If you were playing on a Pee Wee League football team, who's your biggest fan? Mom's out there. Mom is out there and she's rooting you on. So your raving fan base is those people that know you, whether it's your 200 followers or you have 1,000 followers. They are the first people that you invite to follow your business, because they're going to root for your business and they're going to tell people about your business in ways that forging relationships down the line, they don't necessarily have the same convictions unless they see your service up front. So you want to build from your raving fan base on out. Then you can do paid ads and all of these, you know, other things to generate target audiences, target demographics. But when you bring all of these people to this forum to view something, the content has to be engaging. So it's engaging content and it's strategic generating an audience. Those are the two. If I had to keep it as short and sweet as I can, that's the best way to create an audience.
Excellent. All right, we're going to end with 2 rapid fire questions. First one is, aside from Facebook, what one platform would you recommend to post video content on?
I'm gonna jump past YouTube because that's like a no-brainer. And for businesses, I want to tread lightly here. I would say Instagram. But right. Instagram is part of Facebook, but Instagram is very steady. It's why Facebook purchased it. Instagram is very steady in the realm of just frequent interaction. Just by default, people go to Instagram. And it's a quick way to convey, because it's all video or all photo. And it's a quick way to convey messaging. A sleeper resurge is LinkedIn, but people are just making sure that they have that presence there. Video isn't necessarily, people aren't necessarily browsing for the best video there. In all other platforms, such as Twitter, they're still very much led by socializing, and it isn't as business oriented. You even see Wendy's, they're just very comical on Twitter because they know the vibes there. But Instagram, you can be both, in Facebook especially, definitely. And YouTube is the no-brainer. What I do for YouTube is basically my storage closet, because whatever I do on other social media platforms, I'm going to have a backup on YouTube, because YouTube, like I said, is synced in with Google. And whether it's getting views or not, it's going to be found on the Google search, as video content. So I like to have all of my archival footage on YouTube.
All right, we've got a question here about video length. Can videos on YouTube be longer than 15 minutes?
They can be. Yeah, they definitely can be. Yeah, and but when I think a quick rule of thumb, maybe not in the presentation, but you can pretty much gauge from yourself when you're looking at videos. If you saw someone present a 15-minute video, you probably would not watch it. So depending on what it is, I mean, if it's a paid training and they pay to watch it or something like that, yeah, of course they're going to watch it. But I would break that 15-minute video into part 1, part 2, part 3.
Great. I think the question
Workouts
was
and cooking. I saw that.
workouts
Yeah.
and cooking. Yeah.
Workouts and cooking. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think cooking is like she probably get mad that I tell you. My wife actually, I don't know if she fully subscribes, but she watches. Like it's a whole name for it. People giving content while eating dishes. Like cooking is a very dynamic internet phenomenon where, yeah, it would hold attention for 15 minutes. Workouts definitely would hold attention for 15 minutes. You don't want to necessarily jump out of a part 1, part 2, and you're like, I can't finish the workout. So those are exceptions. I guess I was speaking more to traditional small businesses, with that aren't of that industry. So apologies there. Your iMovie videos won't upload more than 15 minutes. Yeah, I don't necessarily work with iMovies. I didn't know that they had that restriction. They probably want you to step up into a different platform. I know Apple does another level up. I'm not sure why they would restrict you to 15 minutes, or your iMovies won't upload. So can you create a longer video than 15 minutes? It just won't upload more than 15 minutes to YouTube. Okay, I'd have to look at that and get back to you. Because I don't usually use iMovie.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I think that is all the questions that I've seen come in through chat. Jamar, I want to thank you again for taking the time and sharing your expertise with fellow Shaker business owners. Thank you all for coming. We will post this to the SHDC YouTube channel. It'll be over 15 minutes, obviously, but if there's something you missed, you want to go back and rewatch, please feel free to do so. And we'll also send out Jamar's deck to the group as well, along with his contact info if you're looking for some professional services.
Yep.
So thank you all again, and have a great rest of your day.
Take care, everybody. Thanks.